Hey, it's Nick Moke for Digital Trends, and we are out here on a beautiful sunny day in Portland, Oregon to talk about photography. So typically when you come out to shoot on a day like this, you're faced with two equally crummy decisions. You can take the point and shoot cam, which takes decent pictures, but it does fit in the pocket. Or you can break out the big guns, go with the DSLR, which takes great photos, but you have to lug it around. Now increasingly, a number of manufacturers are trying to make cameras that pack the imaging quality of something like this into a form factor that looks more like this. And that's exactly what Sony has done with the NEX-5. Now that's a claim that Olympus, Panasonic, and Samsung have all also made with their Micro Four Thirds cameras. Now Sony actually has something different up their sleeve though. They're claiming this is the world's smallest camera with interchangeable lenses. And how they've done that is exactly how all the other competitors have done it. They've removed the mirror assembly that gives you an optical viewfinder. So instead, all you get is this giant high-resolution LCD display. Now fortunately, the image sensor in here is actually exactly the same as what you would get with a DSLR, which means that image quality is actually very comparable, and it can do things that a pocket digital camera usually can't do. For instance, it can shoot at 7 frames per second, which is extremely fast. So another feature we really like about this camera is how easy it is to use. I think Sony knows that professionals are going to stick with DSLRs, and so they've really tailored the controls on this one to the amateur photographer. For instance, if I go to menu on here and go to the shooting modes, it actually has a description of each one spelled out for you so you know what to use each one for without having to bust out the manual. And if you actually go back to the live view here, if I go to shoot.tips, it actually has what is basically an entire beginner photography manual built right into the camera pretty much. So on the flip side of some of the controls being more intuitive for novices, you're going to find that they're actually a little bit more difficult to get to than they would be on a full DSLR. For instance, to go and access the ISO speed, you're going to actually have to go through some menus, whereas that would be much easier to do on a full-size camera. You're also going to find that there's not as many lenses available for the NEX series right now. There is an adapter available that will allow you to use the same lenses as Sony's DSLRs, but you'll lose the ability to autofocus when you go with one of those. So for the novice, probably not that useful right now. And the final flaw of the NEX-5 that we found is that at $650, it's about the same price as an entry-level DSLR. Beginners might find the controls simpler to use and the size less intimidating. They're still going to have to shell out roughly about the same amount of cash to get started.